That's right. We're on twice tonight. This is our second show of the night. If you missed our Scream 6 review, please check that out. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I forgot to mention that last time. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll be privy to all of our other episodes of THS Up All Night, the Horror Syndicate Discourse, and the Supernatural Syndicate on Tuesdays. And Discourse is our show next week that we will be having the whole crew, Jared, myself, Nathan, and Seth, and we will be doing Scream 6 spoilers. Apparently, the spoiler ban is over on the 13th, which I believe is Monday. So Tuesday we'll be safe to talk spoilers. So tonight we have seen Scream 6, as you may have seen on our last show. This is what the thing looks like if you want to go watch that. But we are now here and we're going to reveal a couple of things. We're going to reveal our personal rankings of the Scream movies. And if you've been following the Horror Syndicate on Facebook, we've been doing the 5-star reviews. And I've got the 5-star review ranking, which is the best way to describe it is bonkers. It's very surprising, the numbers that we got. I will also reveal the percentages from each person. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in Seth. I'm not going to ask you how you doing. We just did this. We just did this dance.
Well, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
I just don't care. I don't know. I didn't know it was raining outside. I went ahead and got me a bottle of Coke and a candy bar. Oh, and by the way, this show is sponsored by Combos, the trashiest chip thing that you can get, according to my brother-in-law, but they're delicious. I love them. Your ranking: Scream 3 is the worst, Scream 6, Scream 4, Scream 5, Scream 2, and Scream 1. Okay, fair ranking. Seth, when ranking the Scream series, do you find it difficult, or do you feel like it's, for the most part, obvious?
I think it is a little difficult. I mean, the way I do my rankings is how I feel about them subjectively. I don't kind of rank them trying to think objectively.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a pretty strong series, and the problem with any type of rankings is you could still like something even if it's at the bottom or down towards the bottom, and I think that's the case with this one. But yeah, I mean, it was fairly easy for me.
Absolutely. I mean, like with this series, this is a rare series where I don't think there is an obvious weak movie in the series, but I honestly don't think that, I don't feel like it's a bad movie per se. Sure, it's got problems, which, with Scream 3, that seems to be the default, last place movie at this point. I think anyway. What do you think?
Yeah, but it definitely has its fans. I'm in a couple different Scream fan groups, and there's quite a bit of Scream 3 people out there.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, I like Scream. There's a lot about it I like. It's a little bit different, and there are things that I don't like. And you mentioned when we did the Scream 5 show or Scream 3 show that the portrayal of Dewey is like one of your least favorite things about the movie, and
yeah,
which I get. I can understand that. But yeah, so what we'll do is we'll go through our individual lists first. Starting with Seth, because that's just the way I do it. Okay, because I'm nice. I don't make this. It's not me. It's not the Rayzor show. We could do that if you want, and then I'll just be like, "This is my show. I'll say whatever, and you're a bitch." Not you, Seth. You're delightful. But so I have Seth going first, and then I'll do mine, and then we'll do the combined ranking of both of our rankings together. And we did for that, we did use our slash scores, but I also think, Seth, your ranking is I think it's pretty much the same as your slash scores. I think it came out to be the same way, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So let me know if I'm wrong on that when we start. Because I'm gonna flash the images from the past episodes of doing the rankings. I'll flash those up on the screen so you can explain why. you feel this way about that movie, blah blah blah. Not
Hmm.
blah blah, but blah blah over the best part. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I'm trying. I forgot to save the file for the fan rankings or the follower rankings or whatever we call them, and I'm had to remake it again. So I'm trying to do that real fast, which really isn't going to take me forever. Um, but are you ready for this?
Yeah.
You were born ready. Real fast though, when going in, can I ask you? This is a question I wanted to ask because people do have expectations sometimes going into something. Did you expect Scream 6 to end up high on your list or kind of where it ended up?
I was hoping that it would be high on my list. Anytime I go see a movie, I really hope to really enjoy or love it. And but I also went in knowing that there's that chance that it could have been bottom of the list. Um, you never
Yeah,
know. So,
I mean there is always that chance,
yeah.
but I don't know. I think I think it ended up about right in my opinion. So we got some other rankings coming in. 1-6. Oh, okay, okay. Ranking Scream is hard. The first one is by a mile. The best Scream is clear the worst. I had issues with Scream 6, but solid 2, 4, and 5. Razor thin difference between them all. And that's something that I found with my list, and even Seth's list. Some of them are by the thinnest of margins.
Yeah.
That to me tells me that how strong of a series this really is if they're all that close. Even
Hmm.
a couple of the fan votes. Like I will say, with 4 and 2 are percentage points difference, and 2% difference between the number one spot and the number two spot. But okay, Jesse, thank you. Uh, let's go ahead and get started though with Seth's ranking for. I already know, but I forgot. I'm having trouble here. Give me a second. Did I not put it on there? Son of a bitch. I thought I uploaded all this shit on here, and yours for this one is not there. Give me a second, everyone. Seth, talk about your favorite opening from Scream.
My favorite opening
Yeah,
is, well, by far is the opening to the first movie. I think has a good level of suspense, and um, Drew Barrymore is pretty awesome in that moment. It's just a great scene, great chase scene. I think it was a really solid way to kind of start off the movie. I think it pulled the viewers in very quickly, and it's a very memorable scene too. And I think it's kind of easy to understand for me why this series has some pretty hardcore fans because of stuff like that.
yeah. It's hard to top that one. I do think
Yeah.
in some of the last two movies for sure, they really kind of went for it. Maybe not topped it, but went for it. 3 is my number one. You need to stick around, my friend, because I want to hear why. I just love the ending. I like the ending too. Yeah, man. 6 is it's good, man. That's one I'm gonna have be it's gonna be multiple viewings for me. Before we go even further, because I want to know this for you is what about your favorite killer? My favorite, I agree with you 100%. My favorite opening is Scream. Who is your favorite killer except from the can't be from part 6 for obvious
Um.
reasons. So from the first
Yeah.
six,
I don't
nine,
think I would have chosen anyone from Part Six anyway. Um. Wow, that's a tough one actually. I because I like the combination of Billy and Stu.
yeah,
Um.
they're a killer combo. Oh, get it? Killer
Yeah.
combo. Okay.
Uh. But I also like Mickey
I
from
love
Part
Nikki.
Two.
Yeah.
I actually do kind of like Roman from part 3. I wish that he was in the movie more.
Mm-hmm.
He was such a small role in the movie that when it
Yeah.
was revealed to be him, there was like no impact. But if he had like a bigger role in the movie, it and they really kind of lean towards making him seem like he's innocent, I think it would have had a stronger impact. But I also like Jill and Charlie. I mean, I like most of the killers in this franchise. I think they're all pretty good. It's kind of hard to pick a favorite. I'd probably by default go with Billy and Stu.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, man, it's hard. It is kind of hard to pick a favorite killer. I really like Jill for some reason. I'm not sure what it is. I like Emma Roberts. I know that. I think that's probably part of it. But man, there's just something about her in that movie. First of all, I did not expect her to be the killer, like at all. I honestly thought they were setting her up to be the next Sydney. You
It,
know.
it was a very good twist. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that I actually really like about Jill is that they allowed her to have that one scene where she sets everything up to
Mm-hmm.
make it look like, going in the way that she wanted it to be, and like the stuff that she does to herself. Like she's totally psychotic in that moment, and it's a really fun scene.
Yeah.
I had a bit like when I saw this in the when I saw Scream 4 in the theater, like I had a big smile on my face during that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if there's something wrong with me for
There is.
that.
There is.
Yeah, yeah, there is.
No, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard to say Jill though because like you said, it's hard to deny the originals. I mean, Stu has got to be the fan favorite by
oh yeah,
far,
yeah,
and because everybody wants him to come back, and I mean they brought Billy back in a sense, but I think if I rank them, I'd probably say my top three are going to be Mickey because of how crazy he was. I love when he says Billy's mother,
yeah,
that little scene there.
yeah,
Jill and probably because Billy was obvious. I'm going to go with Stu. I like Stu, but I did like Richie. I will throw that in there. I did like Richie for
yeah,
five.
yeah.
So
I did too.
it's hard because I do like pretty much all of them. I just never thought about ranking them before
Yeah,
today. So there you go. And I think there's no wrong answer here. So just like in ranking anything, there's really no wrong answer to anything unless you put The Last Jedi as your favorite Star Wars movie. Then you're out of your mind. I just had to throw that in there. Like even movies are mocking it. That they said the Scream 8 or Stab 8 or whatever is the worst one because it was made by the guy who made the Last Jedi or whatever. Or they didn't
yeah.
say that, but what they say, Knives Out.
Knives Out. Yeah,
Yeah, which is obviously Ryan Johnson.
yeah.
So
They were
anyway,
totally tackling. They were
oh
totally
yeah,
tackling that.
absolutely. And you know what? Good, because he's such a dick, in my opinion.
I love Looper though.
You love what? Oh yeah, Looper's really. Actually, I think Knives Out's pretty good too.
Yeah,
I just don't like him. His character is shit. As a person, he's kind of garbage. I don't want to get into that. Anyway, um, what we got here? Charlie and Amber are the ones that. Yeah, I agree with that. I think Charlie and Amber are probably at the bottom of my list, with Amber being at the very bottom because I like Charlie as being the horror nerd type. So that gives some extra points, extra cool points for Charlie. So anyway, so we are going to go ahead and get started on ranking the stab movies. Nah, Scream. I knew it was Scream. I was just making a joke. But let me ask you, who's watching? Would you like to see the audience scores first, or would you like to see? Oh, there they were. Or me and Seth's score first, because we've got the audience scores that all of our audience members from the Horror Syndicate Facebook group did rate on a 5-star, and I made a percentage out of it. Anyway, if you want to see that, comment right now. All I need is one comment to tell me to see that before we do Seth's. Okay, we'll do ours first then. There we go. So, number 6 for Seth is Scream 3.
yeah.
Explain yourself.
Yes, I mean Scream 3 I think is a fun movie. It's definitely one I will watch. It's the one I think I watch the least out of all of them. But I I think it works as a final film in a trilogy. I do like the way that the movie does end. Um, I just don't really like the way that Dewey was written. I've said this before. I think it was almost like he was written like he was Doofy from Scary Movie. And I think that's the big issue with my big issue with Scream 3 is the writing from Aaron Kruger. Because I think in the writing department, it didn't really feel like Scream. I think having Wes Craven as the director, having some of the cast come back, having the same kind of crew come back, and and all that, it does feel like a Scream movie in a way, but in the writing department, it doesn't quite so much. But it is my number 6, and I do enjoy it for what it is. I have no problem with it really whatsoever. Um, as far as watching it, it's just I'd go for all the other ones over it if I was to choose just one.
An asshole.
If that makes any sense.
All right, number 5, Scream 5.
Oh, I thought we were going to do the back and forth.
No, we're going to do all yours, then all mine.
Okay. Yeah, Scream 5, I thought it was really good. I like the opening scene. I like the for the most part, I did like the new characters introduced. I felt like I was glad that they gave David Arquette quite a bit to do as Dewey before.
In a short period of time, too.
It was in a short period of time, but he felt significant throughout the movie. And, he's David Arquette is not one of my favorite actors, but when he plays Dewey, I think he's really good. I think he gives it his all as the Dewey character.
Yeah.
So I really liked him. I was kind of impressed because I didn't know what to think going into it, knowing that this was not going to be from Kevin Williamson and Wes Craven. And it had a new team. And even though I liked what they did on a movie they made before this, Ready or Not, I just wasn't sure if they'd be able to capture that spirit, and they did. And I think this was a good sequel. Didn't love everything about it. The daylight killing of Judy Hicks, I call bullshit. But yeah, I thought it was overall it was fun. It was a good addition to the series, and I liked the introduction of the new characters. I'm still not really crazy about the hallucination of Billy Loomis, though.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think. I mean, it is what it is. That they use it as a plot device, and whatever. Yeah. So moving on to his number 4 is Scream 4.
Yeah, Scream 4 is really good. The opening scene, I think, is good. It was good the first time I watched the movie. I had fun with it, but every time I rewatch it, I kind of get a little annoyed with it for some reason.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, every time I talk to you, I get a little bit annoyed with you. No.
Yeah, but I think Scream 4 is really good. I think it needed to. It should have killed off one of the legacy characters because it was a movie that looked and felt like there was some danger to it. Like it could have really raised the stakes. I think if they killed Gail in that scene in the barn, it felt like it was that type of movie to do that. And I also think that the movie should have ended with Jill getting away with it. I know that would make 5 and 6 completely different movies, but I feel like I don't know. Like, I guess this is part of my criticism of part 6 as well. Is we haven't really had a Scream movie take a chance with the way they end it with the one of the villains winning.
Yeah. They haven't done that in any of them yet.
Right. And I again, I mentioned this earlier. I just really love the whole scene with Jill setting everything up, and
Mhm.
I just felt like that would have been a great way to end the movie.
That was an awesome scene. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll get to mine, but I was hoping that she would be more important to the series. I really liked her. I love Emma Roberts. All right, moving on
Yeah.
to your number 3, Scream 6.
Yeah, Scream 6 I thought was really good. It was a really
I forgot to put the percent sign. Okay, go ahead.
yeah, Scream 6 I thought was a really strong sequel. I liked a lot about it. And like I was just saying, I do wish that they took a chance with the ending.
Yeah.
Like I would have preferred if it ended on more of a cliffhanger.
Mhm.
But I thought it was really good. I can't really say much without going into spoilers.
Yeah, I
So
know. And we just did a non-spoiler review, so you can
yeah,
watch that on our YouTube page if you need to subscribe, okay? I mean, come on. It's been too long. It's time for you to subscribe.
Yep.
All right, let's just move on to your number 2, and it feels like it's obvious, right, folks? Right? Right?
right.
Twist! Number
Yep.
2,
Yep.
Scream.
I know this is shocking, but again, like I said at the very beginning of this episode, I ranked based on um, my subjective feelings rather than how I view them possibly objectively. Because I do think the first film is objectively the best in the series, like hands down, no doubt about that. But I just prefer one of the sequels more. It's just my favorite. I do feel like they both probably should have had the same score though, to highlight that point. But yeah, I love the first Scream. It reminds me a lot of the time when it came out. I have some good memories of that, and
Mhm.
I thought it was a good thriller. It was pretty clever in the meta department, although I don't necessarily agree with the rules. But
There are more rules than that, too.
what's
Rules
that?
there are more rules than that.
Yeah, well, I
Well,
mean, some of the rules are bullshit. Because I mean,
mm.
if you watch Halloween, Laurie Strode smokes a joint.
But kind of just, peer pressure. Come on.
Yeah, no, but anyway, I think Scream benefits from having uh, I think, a good script, good pacing. I mean, the movie, every time I put it in, it feels like it's over before I know it. And likable characters too. I love Jamie Kennedy as Randy. I love Matthew Lillard as Stu. I like Skeet Ulrich as Billy. I love Nev Campbell as Sydney. And I think that's one of the strong points of this series is her as the lead character. Yeah, I think this is just a really great movie.
Hmm. Yeah, and that leaves one more for you, which is Scream 2.
Scream 2 is my subjective favorite of this franchise. I don't quite know why I have such a strong attachment to it, but I do. Um, I don't think it has as strong of an opening sequence as the first film does. In fact, Scream 2 is probably one of my least favorites as far as the opening
Yeah.
kills go. Um, but I love it. I love everything about it. I love the sort of intensity in this. Especially in the scene in the cop car. I thought that was a really great sequence. Um, I like the fact that they had the balls to kill Randy. I was mad that they killed Randy because he was my favorite character, but I was glad that they did it, and they didn't do it in the beginning. They did it just before the third act.
Hmm.
I liked David Arquette as Dewey in this one. I liked his relationship with Gail. I liked that they gave him the Broken Arrow theme. Um, and yeah, this is just the one that I go to. If I'm in the mood to watch a Scream movie and not marathon them, but just to watch one, I go for Scream 2 first. And it's weird because I've been seeing a lot of Scream 2 hate lately, but I love it.
Yeah, you do. And I don't think it's as widely loved as I thought it would be,
No,
and that's
definitely
okay. What's that?
not. So no, definitely not.
Yeah, it's kind of strange to think about that. Like, usually, a sequel like that one will be kind of higher up on most people's ratings list, and apparently, no, not so. And I will give a spoiler that it's not very high in mine. It's it's a good movie overall, and it continues the story in a great way. But before we can move on to my ratings, I want to make sure everybody knows a couple of things. Going into next week, we are going to be doing Scream 6 spoilers on the Horror Syndicate Discourse with the rest of the gang. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Horror Syndicate on YouTube and like us on Facebook so you can rate these movies on your own with your own voice and your own opinion as we do. And next Friday, Seth and I are going to be talking about a movie that just turned 30, a movie that is not good, a movie called The Leprechaun.
Oh shit!
Yeah, did you forget?
I thought we were going back to Friday the
We are going to
13th.
be going back to Friday the 13th, but next Friday is St. Patrick's Day. We have to do
Okay.
The Leprechaun, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
How
we'll
about
be
we do 1
talking.
and 2,
Oh,
or 1, 2, 3?
now you're asking a lot. I'll see what I can watch this week, but we will be for sure talking about the Warwick Davis movie, The Leprechaun with Jennifer Aniston. That's next week, and that's it. So subscribe if you want to watch us talk about The Leprechaun, and we both have to wear green. Wear green, I'm gonna pinch you. Anyway, so that was Seth's list, and like I said, after we do mine, we'll do the combined list, and we'll show off the scores of the followers of the Facebook. Yes. Don't forget space. Yeah, so I don't want to go too far. that's too far. I'm from Ireland. The Leprechaun franchise is an insult. I'm sure it is. I'm sure St. Patrick's Day in America is an insult to the Irish, honestly. Anyway, so starting with number 6 for me is Scream 3. For very many of the same reasons as Seth. I like it. It's fun. I remember seeing it and the lead up to it. I was so excited. Theories coming out of my butt. Um, the only reason it falls short is Roman was okay as the killer. I just the lineage thing, like, oh, Sydney's mother and this is her brother. It's like, okay, that's such a cliche now, but like it just Friday the 13th did that with Jason Goes to Hell. Freddy's Dead did that. They kind of do that in one of the Hellraisers too? Or am I thinking of something different? Well, I guess Bloodline kind of did something like that, but they weren't related. I mean, he made the box, the implement configuration. But anyway, number 5, we've got Scream 5. I went to the theater last year and saw this, and I was like, not sure how to feel about it. Spoilers, of course. I was cool with them killing off Dewey. Uh, one of them had to go at this point. It's been so long that these characters have been around. At that point, it's 26 years. He went out well. I'm not liking the fact that it was Amber that did it, but overall, this is one that is like growing for me. I like it more every time I see it, along with Scream 4. So, good movie, fun movie. And I like Richie. He was fun. He played his part really fucking well in that movie. Like I think he had everybody fooled. Although when they released the press photos or whatever, I sent it to the Horror Syndicate group and I said this guy's one of the killers, didn't I, Seth? 100%. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I knew it. Anyway, you don't get Jack Quaid in the game without making him important. Coming in at number 4 for me is Scream 2. I like Scream 2 quite a bit. Yeah, I like it quite a bit, but there's something about it that just kind of bores me. I don't know what it is about it. I like the ending. I like the reveal. I love Mickey. Randy's great. That "fuck you" line is just iconic. Fuck you, but there's something about it. This is my Friday the 13th, the final chapter. This is my Dream Warriors. Everybody loves Dream Warriors. Everybody loves Final Chapter. And a lot of people do like this. To your credit, you said a lot of people don't, but there's a lot that do love this one. This one just doesn't work as well for me. It carries the legacy on, and I like a lot of the things they did, especially with the advent of color ID. That was fun at the very beginning. And unlike you, I do like the opening. I like the scene where he walks into the bathroom and sees two Ghostface taking a whiz, and I like that she's being murdered in front of all these people while watching a horror movie. That just was so cool and unexpected. But I do like this movie. Don't get me wrong. I like all of these movies a lot. The Scream series, in my opinion, if I had to rate the entire series, this is one of the best. And I love Elm Street, and I love Friday the 13th. This is one of the best, most solid franchises of all time.
It's very consistent.
Yeah, exactly. And then coming in at number 3 for me is Scream 6. And I like this movie. I had some problems with the third act, which we'll get into on the spoiler show on Friday or Wednesday. God damn it. But I liked it. I'm starting to like the characters more. I really didn't care for Sam as much in the first movie, the fifth movie. And I like her a little bit more now. I was glad to see Kirby come back, and Nev Campbell's absence was not a glaring problem. Like I don't think it would have been. They mentioned her, and that was good enough for me. With that, so I have a comment. Agreed. Thank you. Number 2 is Scream 4, and the more I watch this one, the more I love it. And a lot of it has to do with being back in Woodsboro, which somebody says everything happens in Woodsboro except for this one on an interview, Jenna Ortega. And I'm like, bitch, 3 of the movies didn't take place in Woodsboro, right? Or 2 of them at least. Scream 3 and Scream 2 both did not take place in Woodsboro. And she said the New York one is the first. I was like, half of them don't take place in Woodsboro. Come on. Yeah. Anyway, they're back in Woodsboro. It had a lot of the same feel of the first movie. I really enjoyed some of the new characters. I like that little scene at the end where they said that you're safe if you're gay, and that kid's like getting ready to get killed, with the webcam. He's like, I'm gay. and then I'm guessing it was Charlie underneath the mask because he kind of tilts his head. And then, does that help? I love that bit. And then, to like you said, Jill throwing herself around the room, beating the shit out of her, a la Liar Liar with Jim Carrey. It was really awesome to see that shit. Like, she had this plan to a T. And man, I love Emma Roberts. And she was really fucking good. And I did not expect her. This is the first time in the Scream movies, I was extremely surprised by the killer reveal. Like Billy, I was like, okay, yeah, that made sense. Mickey kind of like, he had it all over his face. Nancy Loomis, that was surprising, but Jill, like, I had no clue. I thought they were building her to be the next Sydney, and I loved her. And where you don't like that hospital scene, I do like that scene, especially when you don't fuck with the original.
That was a good line.
Yeah, that's a great one. Great fucking line. Yeah. But Scream 4 will likely not pass. Leprechaun is not an insult to Ireland as a country. Just hate to say, it's an insult to everybody, my friend. Everybody should be insulted by this face. Anyway, so my number 1 obviously is going to be Scream, and a lot of it has to do with I can remember the way I felt watching this movie. I was in my room. I was in high school too, so these kids were my age. I was 16, they were probably 17 or whatever, but they were like really close to my age. And I was sitting there in my room watching this. Like, I don't think I moved a muscle while watching this movie. I was on the edge of my seat, didn't know who was going to live, who was going to die. It just was one of those movies that to me almost was kind of a game changer, kind of a life changer in a way. Horror, everything I saw in horror in the 90s, with the exception of movies like Jason Goes to Hell and I think Halloween 6, and there's one more. I can't remember what the other one is. Oh, Interview with a Vampire. Those are the only ones I saw in the theater before Scream, because everything was almost direct to video at that point. You know, they were really pushing hard on direct to video, and Scream came out, and people probably don't like when I say this, it saved horror from becoming what most critics want it to be, a direct to VHS or whatever movie genre that nobody gives a shit about. But no, it saved horror, in my opinion. So that's how I rate the Scream series. So to run back through, through my least favorites, 3, then 5, then 2, almost said 4, 6, 4, and 1. And my son's favorite is 4 also. And Seth's, to go back, is 3, 5. So you know what our combined rankings will look like a little bit. We have 4 and 2 flip-flopped.
Yeah.
6 is in the same spot. That's a strong place for that, in my opinion. I think that's a good spot for it.
Oh,
and 1, and then no, we don't have them flip flop because you are a weirdo, and you have you have 2 rated higher than 1. If you hit the like button on this video on Facebook, or hit the like button on our YouTube channel, it helps the algorithm push it so other people can watch these videos. And that's what we want, is a wider audience, because we have a lot to say in a lot of shows. Speaking of, here is our combined ranking for the Scream series. And we're doing this with every series that we talk about. So Friday the 13th is next. And we already did Silent Night, Deadly Night. So I'm okay with this. What do you think?
I like how you use the Roman numeral 5 for Scream 5.
They need to recall all the Blu-rays and re-edit the movie and put the V on there like that, since they're going with Roman numerals. I get why they called it Scream, but I hate that more than anything. It's Scream 5. Even Jenna Ortega called it Scream 5. It's Scream 5. And no, actually, all 3 of them did. I saw an interview with Jenna Ortega, Courtney Cox, and Melissa Barrera. Is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they all called it Scream 5. It's Scream 5, dicks. Stop trying to make that meta shit happen. Anyway, so obviously, for anybody who's not looking at the screen, it's number 6 is Scream 3, 5 Scream 5, 4 Scream 3, 6. 4 is Scream 6. God damn it. I was looking at the top. 3 is Scream 4, 2 is Scream 2, and 1 is Scream. I don't think Scream will ever be replaced as tops on the list. No. What do you think? On an overall list. Your list, obviously, is a different story. My favorite horror movie, Scream, one of the best slashers I've ever made. Yes, it is. It is. And I honestly do. How do you think? Do you think that Scream potentially saved horror?
I think so, because it did good box office for starters.
Yeah.
Especially for a slasher series. But it also, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but it also saved the franchises that we know and love.
Yeah.
Because it gave a boost. Because especially the Halloween franchise, they were on the way to going direct to video, and then Scream came out, and Dimension Miramax / Disney at the time were like, okay, we'll apply this to Halloween with H2O, and it turned out to be the most successful one at that point in time. It also allowed Chucky to come back. They did the meta version of that with Bride of Chucky, and that was pretty successful. So it revived old franchises, even though I don't necessarily like the fact that some of them went the Scream route. It was good for them to kind of get a foot in the box office again.
Yeah. I'm glad Halloween didn't fall straight to video, because God, that there could possibly be like 25 of those by now, and they could all be dumpy, I appreciate Scream for what it is. I do believe it is a heavy hitter for horror slashers, and it's one of the best, most consistent franchises of all time. And I don't I think about this way too much, but my horror Mount Rushmore, who belongs on there as far as the slashers: Freddy, Michael Myers, and Jason for sure. There's always that fourth spot. Is it Chucky? Is it Leatherface? Is it Pinhead? I think it's Ghostface. Honestly, I do. At this point, I think it's Ghostface.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, I like those Child's Play movies and everything, but I don't know. Chucky just it doesn't do it like the others do, and I love Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw movies, but they're not. There's no consistency in the
Yeah.
series. Like it's one of the worst series when it comes to that, and it's the same thing with the Hellraiser movies. It's the Ghostface is consistent. The Elm Street movies, for the most part, were pretty consistent up till Freddy's dead. You know, and
Yeah.
same thing with the Friday the 13th movies, for the most part, until a certain point, they were very consistent. So I think that's your Mount Rushmore. Now that there's six of them and possibly a seventh, I think that's where they belong. Ghostface, Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers.
Yeah.
So, all right, now let's throw things on its head a little bit. If you hit the like button, I really appreciate that. You can also share the video on Facebook or any of your social medias. That help us out a little bit because we really have fun doing this. I have fun. I have fun. Do you have fun?
Yeah.
Don't you lie to me. All right, so here is we put out a 5-star rating system for the Horror Syndicate on Facebook. You can go on there and pick if a movie, if you think it's a 5-star movie, 4-star, 3-star, 2-star, by using the emojis. And what I do is I calculate everything, and I got my list right here. How many 5 stars we get, how many 4 stars, all that, and I come out with a percentage number. Like you've seen, these type of percentage numbers are actually different from the ones that our fans, followers, whatever you want to call them, get. And here is how, based on the percentages, the Scream movies stack up. Obviously, Scream 3 is on the bottom, and I think that's going to be the way it's going to move forward. But Scream 2 is number 4, which is where I have it. Then Scream 4, Scream 6 is trending high already. And I just updated this, Seth, right before the show, and now it's at 87%. So right now, our followers have Scream 6 as the best Scream movie.
I think that'll go down.
It should. I hope it does. It got shared in a Scream group, so I think that might be part of it. Kind of like that Evil Dead Army of Darkness sharing thing that happened a couple years ago. But what do you think? Let me get your impressions on this.
I mean, it seems fair. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I kind of got into an argument with someone earlier about, people can vote for the way they want. I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of, Scream 2 being towards the bottom, so that percentage doesn't bother me because I was expecting it. I'm glad people are enjoying Scream 6 the way that they are. I do feel like Scream 6 will go down. I mean, we're still a couple days early into it being released. And usually the pattern I see is when something comes out, you see often a lot more praise for it at the start, and then
except for Halloween Ends. Yeah.
Right. And then yeah. And then the more days go by, then you start to see sort of more people who express their dislike coming out of the woodwork. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I do expect it to go down. I think those are fair percentages. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they're for the most part fair, and I 100% agree with you. So we did Halloween Kills the weekend after Halloween Kills came out in 2021, and like it came up as like the third best Halloween movie. We just redid that. I haven't checked the scores to compare, but I'm almost certain that whatever score Halloween Kills had in 2021 is probably way higher than it is now. So
Yeah.
like when it comes to, so the reason we're doing these 5-star ratings is I want to come up with an ultimate top 250 horror movies of all time list, hopefully by October. And we're gonna revisit Scream 6. We're gonna, some of these movies that come out in 2023 almost don't have a chance because they're either too new, and they won't get as many ratings, because anything that doesn't get 100, at least 100 ratings, is not going to make the list. Like for instance, I believe the movie Torso, which is an Italian horror film, kind of a slasher, good movie. It only had like 86 ratings, so it's more than likely not going to make the list at all. Because it's just, and some of these, like Train to Busan, had 244,000 rates. That's insane. It was almost impossible to rate it. Like I had to do a lot of math for that one. But yeah, I think it's fair, and I really love seeing the way these turn out. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it right after the show, see where Halloween Kills ended up, because I think that the Halloween Kills 2021 score is going to be, I'm going to say, over 5% difference. I'm going to say that. So look, I don't remember what it was before, but yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the show tonight. Remember, next Wednesday, we are going to be doing the Horror Syndicate Discourse show, and we'll be talking about Scream 6, and be warned, anybody who doesn't want to watch that. But if you want to come back and talk about that with spoilers, come back. Talk to us. We'll spoil the shit out of this movie. We'll have this banner up before we start spoiling anything from the movie. But the spoiler ban for Scream 6 ends, according to the studio, March 13th. So we will be doing a spoiler show on the Horror Syndicate Discourse. If you're not familiar, here is a truth.
Sights to show you.
Hell yeah.
In that last clip at the very end, when the guy says, "Hell yeah," I'm still waiting for somebody to tell me what movie that's from. I know what it's from. I actually recorded that clip off my TV, but I know what it's from. My daughter hates hearing that. Anyway, Seth, do you have anything else you want to add before we get off the show about Scream franchise as a whole and the way you rank them?
No. I mean, I enjoy this series quite a bit, and I look forward to the next one. And it's a consistent franchise, and I'm glad that people are liking the new one for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
There's who, but at the moment, the vast percentage of people do, and I think that's great. So yeah.
Look for a review from Seth on Scream 6 in the next day or two on thehorrorsyndicate.com. And while you're there, check out all the other great articles we have, because there are a ton. Seth, what is the last couple things you've put up? What are proper English, Ray? Come on.
Oh, I did a review for American Werewolf in London, which I feel like is an inferior sequel, but there's still some
in
fun
Paris.
elements
You said
to
London. In Paris.
Oh, in Paris. I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Your brain just says American Werewolf in London.
It's my favorite, horror movie.
Yeah.
So But so I wanted to talk American Werewolf in Paris, because I do have fun with it, even though it's not anywhere near as good as the original. I also did a ranking of all 6 George Romero dead films, which was fun to do. I imagine I'll probably get shit for not having a certain movie as my number one. But I enjoy that series. And
Your
then
list.
before that, I did. What's that?
I said it's your list.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have a specific reason why my number one is my number one on that.
I know.
I
read
also
the
did,
article.
yeah. I also did a review of The Faculty, which was a fun sci-fi horror movie, love letter to Invasion of Body Snatchers and Puppet Masters. So
Yeah.
those are what I've done recently.
There's so much more on the website, thehorrorsyndicate.com, from Seth. Script breakdowns of some of the Halloween movies that never made it. The same thing with A Nightmare, a sequel or two. And I just did the top 25 horror films, my top 25 horror films of the 1990s. So check that out. And we're going to be doing more underrated horror movies like Poltergeist 2 or Stir of Echoes. Super underrated. Check them out.
Yes.
So check out thehorrorsyndicate.com, subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on Facebook for all the fun that we have, because we have fun, don't we, Seth?
We do.
I paid him for that. Anyway, we will see you next Friday, which will be St. Patrick's Day, where we'll be talking about the Leprechaun. So a face only a mother can love. That is next week. Until then, watch more horror. Go see Scream 6 if you have not. I don't know why you watched if you did. If you did, tell us exactly how you feel about it in the comments. And we'll be talking about Scream 6 on our show on Wednesday, the Horror Syndicate Discourse. Anyway, for Seth, I guess, good night. No? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Good night.
All right.
I thought you were going to play an asshole thing.